Old Man Winter is bearing down on central Indiana. The weather outside getting mighty cold, but it's plenty warm here where Hoosier hysteria is on full display. Good evening, everyone. From the Branch McCracken Memorial Gymnasium on the campus of Monrovia High School. Welcome to boys high school basketball. I'm Mark James, happy to be joined by Bulldog girls basketball head coach Kevin Rounds. And coach, interesting matchup tonight. Plainfield Quakers come in with a record of 11-1. We'll talk about them in just a moment. But for Kyle Swafford and the Bulldogs of Monrovia, they're riding along, cruising along through their holiday tournament. They win that championship. They're 10-0. And not only did the schedule toughen up with the new year, but the injury bug bit them a bit as well.
Yeah, you have one of their better players, solid players, in Caleb Jones going with a broken finger right at the edge into the holiday tournament. And then moving them right into their tough stretch in their schedule. 5 games, 7 days. Really tough break for them, but you got a quality opponent, Plainfield, coming in to our gymnasium and ready to maybe see what the Bulldogs can do with Caleb back into the lineup.
Well, I think, as you well know, while you have 9 seniors on your roster, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have a lot of depth. Clearly, we had issues, I say we, in terms of Monrovia, finding somebody to fill that spot on the roster by Caleb. And when you bring Jalen Sprague in off the bench, that removes an element and makes a bench that's not very deep a little thinner.
Yeah, with Coach Swafford, talking to Coach, they really miss Caleb's rebounding and just solid defensive effort, and then just putting Jalen into the game really thins them out and gives them an element off the bench that they didn't have these last 3 games.
Andy Weaver, 7th season at Plainfield, although the record's 60-87, he's starting to even it up a bit. They stand 11-1. Their lone loss to a pretty good Brownsburg team in the Hendricks County tournament recently. No shame in that. Brownsburg's going to do that to a lot of people this year.
Brownsburg is a powerful team. Coach Lynch, I coached with Coach for 1 year, and I know a bunch of those seniors and juniors, and they are a powerful basketball team. And Coach Weaver gets his ball team to play very, very tough, and we expect a hard-nosed, grind-em-out game tonight.
We'll talk more about them as the first quarter progresses. The dark-colored jerseys you'll see belong to the Plainfield Quakers. The Bulldogs in the home white. Kobe Fallour, Aiden Boer, Cade Gibbs, and Kane East, along with Jacob Gibbs, the starting lineup for Plainfield as the opening tip goes out of bounds for Monrovia. They'll start Caleb Jones again back in the lineup after missing a couple of games due to injury. He is wearing a brace on that injured hand. Joe Williams, the sophomore, joins him in the backcourt. Then Josh Smith, Patrick Danforth, and Max Newman, the starting 5. Kyle Swafford, in his 3rd season guiding the Bulldog fortunes, his overall record 41-22. They're 10-3 on the season, but again losers of 3 straight. Bulldogs have the basketball.
Coach really going to look to get it into Max Newman here. Good possessions and really slow the game down and have good quality shots every single time for their 2 best players.
Turnover on the entry pass. Plainfield heads back the other way. Josh Smith needs to get untracked offensively too to take some of the scoring burden off of Max.
Yeah, Josh has been excellent over the last first 10 games and just has struggled of late.
Cade East with a nice move. He used the elbow, extended it a little bit to buy him a little bit of room. The officials let him have that one, and he gives his ball club the early 2-0 advantage.
Yeah, nice little down screen action, cutting hard to that elbow.
Danforth with the basketball in the corner for the Bulldogs. Not going to get a lot of scoring out of him, but he is going to defend well. Let's see if that brace hurt that shooting touch. It looked good, although it looked like it went a little bit off the heel of the hand. No good. Bulldogs do not rotate back at all defensively and gives Cade East the first 4 points of the game with a wide open look from the left baseline.
Yeah, that will not excite Coach Swafford at all. The shot look for Caleb looked good, but not rotating, getting back on defense is a no-no.
I think he would agree. Some issues defensively for his basketball team over these 3 losses. He's not been real pleased with their reluctance to play good defense.
No, and giving up early, easy baskets is never what you want to do. That is a strong move on Max Newman, which is what Coach Swafford wants to see.
Bound for Bethel. Happy for him. Good kid. He's worked awfully hard. I mean, he's got the one thing you can't coach, but he does have the work ethic to go along with it, and I think that's what Bethel recognized. They're pretty high on the recruiting class they have coming in.
Yeah, met with Max, I think they're getting a solid big man, and I know Coach Lightfoot up there is excited about a couple of other guys that he's getting, but Max is going to do an excellent job. They do a good job of really working with their bigs and developing them.
A good ball rotation, the diagonal pass to the corner, and Cade Gibbs can't convert. It's one of the things they like about Max, even though that ball was knocked away. Clearly, for a big man, handles the basketball very well.
Yeah, he's
a little too deep under the bucket. Credit Caleb Jones for the rebound, but he gets his pocket picked. And Cade Gibbs has his first 2 off the theft, and that makes it 6-2 in favor of the Quakers.
Just a little lazy. You probably want Joey to go to the ball a little bit more with a quick foul on the entry pass for their little point guard there.
Max Newman on the entry pass is bumped. It'll be out of bounds to the Bulldogs. The first team foul either way. Again, Andy Weaver, 60 and 87 in 7 years overall, 286 and 263. 25 years on the sidelines from the looks of him. He started when he was 10.
Coach Weaver is a very been around a while. Been at Western up near Kokomo and had a strong couple seasons and came down here to Plainfield and has been really just a good solid coach for Plainfield.
Josh Smith is in a slump, unlike anything you will see out of a kid that's capable of shooting the basketball. And as you well know, there's only one thing you can do. I mean, that wasn't a forced shot. It's a good shot in the scope of the offense. It's just not falling for him right now.
He is in the slump of all slumps, and you got a player like players go through those slumps. You just got to shoot your way out of it.
Patrick. Again, not the option there. He's trailing the play, and Patrick, occasionally they'll get some points out of him, but by and large, more defensive specialist than a screener.
He's one of those kids that just makes the possession go offensively, and then defensively just does an excellent job of making sure he gets and takes care of his defensive assignment.
I like the ball rotation, Coach. I mean, they use the skip pass over the top of the defense, and they use their height to their advantage to be able to see the floor.
Yeah, you got 4 strong, athletic kids that really can pass and shoot it well, and they use that really well to their advantage.
Follow the shot. Good look by Caleb Jones. That's 2 threes from that right side. He's not been able to get either to fall.
Yeah,
Caleb blocked by Max Newman. He must have gotten a piece of the body down low.
That's what it looks like there. I thought that was pretty good, but obviously I'm not out there blowing the whistle. Caleb down there on the offensive side, I think, again, just like Joey, you're fighting through an injury a little bit. Continue to shoot, continue to have confidence in your ability to do the things you do well.
KD's good on the free throw. He has 5 of his ball club's points. Max in transition. Smith pulls up off the glass and in. That's a good shot in transition and rhythm. Maybe that can get him on track.
Yeah.
As we said before, anybody can shoot, but can you score?
Yeah.
When you're in a slump, you have to find a way to score.
Exactly. And we've had some good examples for us. Man, nice play by East, and just makes a nice little tip, rebound, and gets an easy basket for his partner there.
Ian's got the 6'6" sophomore. He was got to check in during the top of his play. I think we'll take that unexpected 3-pointer from Patrick Danforth.
He was in rhythm, took a shot, confident, raised up and shot it. That's what Coach would definitely want him to do.
Boy, their spacing is really good, and again, they see the floor very well.
Yeah, unlucky, just kind of have one roll off, and he might get a steal here.
And look at the hustle.
Yeah, that's you can't. As a coach, that is invaluable. You're one of your better players, working really hard, getting on the floor, trying to get an extra possession for you. It's invaluable.
To see him get some screens for Joe Williams, that's a kid that can fill it up.
Yeah, I think right there, Caleb, that's a little bit to the hand, not being able to use that left hand. Going to his right, but needing to pick that ball up and be strong in there at that high post area. He just couldn't do it. Strong
move to the bucket by Jacob Gibbs. Newman trying to answer. A lot of contact, no call in transition. Come the Quakers. Cade East trailing the play.
Yeah.
Plainfield is going to reset now. 7-point lead for the Quakers, as you can see, the 2-minute 22nd mark of the first quarter. 3 ball, good. And again, ball rotation, the key there.
Yeah, it's, it's very similar, like you said, spacing earlier. Everybody takes their turn to try and score, and then pitches to the open man that, is ready to shoot and lights that thing up.
Good lob pass. That's a nice entry pass from Patrick Danforth. Give him the assist for the 4th point to Max Newman.
Yeah, Patrick patient there on offense, and Max does a nice job of being patient, not rushing the shot. You got some subs coming in.
Sprague coming in for Caleb. And a role that he's a bit more comfortable with. Mason Naaman, the 5'11 junior, comes in from Plainfield. So they do have players under 6 feet tall. I wondered about that as they walked into the gym tonight.
Well, that is, they are definitely a good-looking team when they walk in. A 4A team, with playing a strong mid-conference schedule, mid-state schedule.
Good 2-man basketball. Good look by Josh.
Yeah.
Max fights for the rebound, and Plainfield controls it. And an outlet right away. And an easy deuce.
That ball
back the other way for Kate East. He has 7 now.
That ball does not stop moving for Plainfield, and that is really giving Monrovia fits.
Well, and on the rebound, they release. They don't waste any time. Sprague with a bucket on the steal.
Nice job by Max Newman. Hustle, and the best players hustling. That's always good, getting on the floor. And Jalen gets an easy one early. Maybe he can start to solidify the scoring efforts.
That's a good move, using the body to buy yourself a little room by Mason Naaman. They'll take 2 points off the bench from him.
Yeah, solid effort. That's not really his first option, but they'll take it from him.
Just nothing going right for Josh, nothing. I mean, a drive, he saw the lane, it broke open for him, and he dribbles it off his foot on his way to the bucket. Darian Gardner will come in for Plainfield. Jacob Gibbs will come back. And checking into the ball game for Monrovia will be Cordell McLeod, the 6'2 senior.
Yeah, Josh, not seeing everything right in front of him there, and just he can't have any luck. Just get an easy one going his way.
It's the wrong time of the year to be looking for a four-leaf clover to get you out of this slump, isn't it?
Exactly, and he's gonna, it's not gonna get any easier, but he's got a lot of people that care about him, and I know he's gonna fight through this and keep playing.
10-point lead for the Quakers. They have the basketball. Intent to play for 1 here. I like Kate East. There's a lot of things he does with the basketball really well.
Man, he is a nice player, and that's a nice play by Jalen. Man, a lot of contact. Max is really, again, struggling too. Gotten a lot of contact 2 times in a row, and I think Coach Swafford is very much trying to protect his big man there, and nothing.
So behind 7 points from Kate East in the quarter, it's 21-11. Quakers by 10. Stay with us. We'll rejoin you momentarily. Mark James, girls head basketball coach Kevin Rounds on the call tonight. Plainfield and Monrovia Bulldogs first joined sectional play way back in 1914, believe it or not. Coach, listen to some of these teams in the early days. Pendleton, Castleton, Carrigan, Pittsboro, Gosport, Smithville, and Coal City. The locals must not have been happy when they had back-to-back sectional losses to Eminence in 1919 and 1920 by scores of 20-10 and 8-7.
Man, those days of basketball are so amazing. I grew up going to games with my grandfather being a head coach at Centerville High School out near Richmond, and both my mom going to Richmond, my dad going to Kokomo. Basketball runs deep, and those communities value basketball, and these 2 communities do too, and that's fun.
Mason Namath with a big strong move for Plainfield, but answering back the other way is Jalen Sprague, who has 5 points in the ball game now.
This is a grown man's game tonight. We've had some opponents in that have not had that kind of setting, and Monrovia has been really able to bully them around. This Plainfield team is not that team.
Well, Eminence, Cascade, Speedway, Cloverdale, Clay City, Edinburgh, Southmont, Brown County, North Putnam, Greenwood, Christian. And then you follow that up with Ritter, Beech Grove, Cecina, and Plainfield.
Those 4 teams right there, fantastic team, always well coached, going to play hard. And you got kids that play 3 and 4A schedules, and we have an offensive foul call.
Oh, it's a travel.
Oh, travel.
Andy Weaver. No, I mentioned, you would know this as a basketball coach. As part of your training, whenever you disagree with a call, you turn palms up and you stick your arms. Every coach does that every time they disagree with a call. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we all grow up watching coaches and watching each other, and it's like second nature. I don't know why, but my wife says the same thing about me, and I don't know why I do it, but I do.
Nice fadeaway by Max Newman. Threw it up a little short.
He's looking for a foul. I think he just needs to play through contact, and if he gets a foul, he gets one.
Yeah, some element of fatigue may be entering in to the equation for the Bulldogs. Coach Swafford does not want to talk about that, but Mother Nature's impending and Old Man Withers and impending snow tomorrow has resulted in already the cancellation of not only tomorrow's ICC Conference Wrestling Championships, but also tomorrow night's game with North Putnam. And quite frankly, strong move and finish by Max Newman. I think the Bulldogs could use the break.
Yeah, and you might be right. You know, as a coach, like you try to manage those things through practice and your preparation, but like you said, you don't want to put that into your player's mind, into your mind, because everybody plays a tough schedule. Everybody's playing, you know, 19, 20, 22 games a year. You know, Plainfield gets out of Hendricks County, plays in the Hendricks County tournament. They play 5 or 3 tough games. There's no excuses.
Newman with the basketball. Jalen Sprague is given him 5 points off the bench.
More into a natural scoring spot for him, and that's really good. Good hustle by Cordell McLeod. Get him an extra spot.
Danforth, Sprague, 3-pointer. Newman, no. Don't settle for it. I think that's what Kyle Swafford would say. Don't settle for it. Yeah,
and now I think that's the thing with Max is he's been frustrated, and he's got to play through that. You know, 7-point deficit. You know, they hit a 2 there to make it 5, and Plainfield might maybe start worrying a little bit more and having to press a little bit more.
Gibbs and East among those returning. Jacob Gibbs. Caleb Jones back into the ball game for Monrovia.
Let's see if Caleb gets used to the finger splint and can maybe stick one in and have a good defensive effort here.
Max Newman with some weak side help on a block after Joe Williams has seen the defender slip away from him. By the way, may be familiar with the Mecum auto auctions. Well, it just so happens with this winter weather this weekend, there's one in Florida. And Joe's dad, Tony, heavily involved in the production of that show, of course, in the direction of it. He is watching, we guess, from his hotel room, unless he's poolside tonight. But Tony, regardless, belated Happy New Year, and thanks for joining us tonight.
If he's poolside or if he's hotel side or wherever he's at, we miss him. And Tony's always a fixture in the gym, and is, you know, with the boys and the girls, is a big supporter of Monrovia basketball. We really just love having people like that around all the time.
Repeated attempts for the Plainfield Quakers. They'll get another one and throw it up too strong, and a foul underneath the bucket will go back the other way.
Max gets a charge call, and I think very fortunate. You know, that's a play where he doesn't necessarily give a guy a spot to land, but gets a call.
Ian Ray comes in for the Bulldogs.
See what maybe gives some energy. He's an energy type player, and usually a star on the football field, but hopefully maybe give him a little bit of strength, a little bit of energy.
Yeah, Josh Smith, a little gimpy, came down wrong on the ankle, and we hope that he's okay. Joe, deep 3, no. Bulldogs stone cold from beyond the arc right now.
That is exactly right. you know, again, like we talked about with Josh, get one to fall, and maybe you just realize that can go through. Man, nice.
He gets to the bucket in a hurry.
Yes, he does.
And that's Kobe Failure with his first bucket. 25-16 the advantage now for the Quakers. Bulldogs not letting them run away just yet anyway, but they can't seem to get it inside of 7. Max hits a big 3 there and makes it a 6-point ball game. 9 points for Max Newman.
Yeah, good, nice 3, good rhythm 3. They need a stop here. They need a stop in the worst way. And
Bulldogs moving their feet. Pretty good defensive series for them. And as we say that, the big-time finish from Cade Gibbs, the 6'5 senior, with his 7th point of the half.
Yeah, they just have waves and waves of talent and strength coming right at you.
Really good job of shuffling the feet defensively. Kick over to Newman. His 3 is no good. Ray attempts the rebound but has it knocked away. And just like that, here come the Quakers in transition. Ray bumps him on his way to the bucket. He'll go to the free throw line for 2. That's Cade Gibbs. First foul on Ray. That'll be the 3rd team foul in a rapidly moving first half, which is, I think, aided by the fact that neither team is anywhere near the bonus with less than 3 minutes to go in the half.
Yeah, this has been the tempo of this game, the flow of this game has been really, really good. Both teams, I think the referees have done a nice job of just kind of letting them play a little bit. And, you know, I think there's been a couple maybe calls that could go on either end, but that was probably a good foul by Ian Ray, even though Gibbs knocks down both those free throws.
Well, neither team got in a bonus in the JV game, and we were talking to athletic director Todd Evers, talking about the fact that, you know, we were going to start this thing early as Joe Williams breaks a big 3.
Yes.
Back-to-back threes for the Bulldogs. A shot in rhythm and cuts the lead to 7. And Coach Evers said, well, we got to start at 7:30 because that's what's advertised. I said, hey, now, you're not paid by the hour. If we can get it started a little early, get out of here a little early, so be it.
Yeah, you know, with the weather coming in, I think both teams are probably looking to hopefully get out safe and you know, got high school kids driving around. You don't want them out driving for a nice little spin with my Max.
Well, and that's indicative of Caleb Jones not being a part of things for a couple of weeks now because he stayed right in the corner. And you know this as a coach. I think when you have somebody penetrating from the point, you kind of like to tell the people on the wings and the corners to kind of come to the bucket with him to give him some options.
Yeah, and I think Caleb is, you know, yeah, like you said, still trying to get in the groove and really just not really in the flow of the game. Just watch his movements, and I think he's still trying to figure out that brace on his finger. Maybe this will give him some confidence moving forward if he's got to play with that. It sounds like maybe for the rest of the year.
Good effort by Caleb Jones to knock away the inbound pass. Kyle Swafford pleading his case. Bulldogs again were scheduled to play North Putnam Saturday night. We do want to let you know that that game will be here on Monday night. JV at 6, varsity at 7:30. So Monrovia, North Putnam tomorrow night off due to the weather. But please be here at the McCracken Gymnasium Monday night.
Busy
6
night
and 7:30.
Yeah, busy night of basketball with the girls traveling to Lutheran to playing a conference matchup, which is very important for us.
That's a tough place to play. I mean, it's one of those small parochial school gymnasiums, and if there's not much of a crowd there, they can hear everything you're saying, Coach Round.
Exactly right. I'm always excited about that, and love those places. But you know, it is a good chance. Good for Caleb Jones. Nice drive and dish. Max Newman with the drive and dish, and maybe Caleb can get himself going a little bit.
Bulldogs have cut the lead now down to 6. I just like the way they attack the basket playing field. I mean, they know they're strong, they know they're quick, and they know they can elevate.
Exactly right. Monrovia has not proven that they can keep them out of the paint, and Coach Weaver has obviously told them to keep attacking, and they do.
Okay, Mr. High School basketball coach, I got to ask you, how much time do you spend on free throw shooting? Because I'm convinced no one at the high school level anywhere is working on free throw shooting ever. I
tell you, we work on it probably about 10 minutes a day, but I also am one of those guys that, you know, get the right guy shooting free throws at the right time. Because
good drive and dish. Patrick Dempsey forth with the bucket. Continue.
Yeah, because that's just, that's it. Obviously, if you have a kid that struggles at the free throw line, getting them in a big moment is going to be hard for them. So get a person that doesn't struggle and has confidence at the free throw line late in games.
Well, let's face it, it's a discipline that one must develop on their own, too.
Correct.
That's one of those things you got to do away from regular practice time. Yeah. And it's not one of the fun things to do.
No, and we talk about that constantly. The gym is always open. Stay after practice. I'm here at 6:15, 6:45 with my kids, with my little kids. So if you want to be here, you can be here.
Lee Sharp, the 7 and an offensive foul back the other way. That's the second the Bulldogs have drawn in this half, and for a team that quite frankly has been criticized for their inability to focus on defense the past couple of times out onto the floor against the past couple of opponents, it's going to be a high mark for Kyle Swafford.
Yeah, that's another nice play. Caleb Jones sticks his nose right in there, and when you take a charge like that, you're going to get hit. These guys come in with a head of steam. I would assume if I'm Coach Weaver, I continue to tell them to keep attacking, because taking a charge is not fun, but the efforts are appreciated by a coach.
And we've got our space eater in the game, number 40, Ben Gaston, getting some minutes. Seconds, we should say here, not minutes. Love Ben. Have him in class, great kid. Just completed his football career, hoping to continue it. He's looking at a couple of different D3 schools in the HCAC.
Yeah.
Good kid from a good family.
Yeah, Ben is just one of those kids that will work hard for you. He doesn't need much, but he's going to try and work hard. Oh, nice move by Max.
It's not a bad foul. No. I mean, you look at where you are in terms of team fouls. That's just the 14th foul with 4.4 seconds left. No. Take a little screen help from Max. If he's going to be the guy that takes the shot, somebody come up and lay a body on the defender.
No, that would be definitely. I'd be hollering to take another one, and they get Joey open.
It's a good look at it. We have played one half of basketball, and I think if you're Plainfield, there's a measure of concern to the fact that you haven't put Monrovia away.
Yeah, no, that's what I would be talking about with Coach Weaver, and I know he probably is. I'm sure he's probably telling him continue to attack the paint, and we got to get them down, step on their throat, and put them away. Don't let them get back in this game. And if you're Coach Swafford, it's a couple possession ball game. You're talking about a couple turnovers that we've made, some shots that may be forced. Let offense come to you, and if we can keep them out of the paint a couple times, get a couple consecutive stops, 3, 4 on that scoreboard, that Plainfield team might start to tighten up.
Unofficially leading scorers in the ballgame, 12 points for Cade Gibbs. He leads Plainfield. Cade East with 7 points for the Bulldogs, 9 for Max Newman, 5 off the bench for Jalen Sprague. Plainfield led 21-11 at the end of the first quarter. Your halftime score 34-27. We'll be back in just a few moments with third quarter action here for the Branch McCracken Memorial Gymnasium at Monrovia High School. just about a minute away from second half action here at the Branch McCracken Memorial Gymnasium. Mark James happy to be joined by girls basketball coach Kevin Rounds. And Coach, while we have an opportunity, we talked about how daunting the Bulldogs' schedule's been of late. If it not for the postponement tomorrow night, they were looking at 5 games in 7 days, coming off a holiday tournament. Schedule lightens up a little bit for your ball club. You're coming off a week which saw you in an 11-game slide to the Edgewood Mustangs Monday night.
Yeah, excellent job. Our girls have really played well over the last 5 or 6 games, kind of rounding into shape for sectional play. Looking forward to that. But yeah, winning that streak was phenomenal. Did a nice job. Our girls played really hard against the hard Edgewood team, and we're looking forward to getting another one on Monday night against Lutheran.
And how about Michaela Swafford? What an honor. Joins the 1,000-point club.
Yeah, you know, I've talked about this in the paper and with a lot of different people, but people in the state of Indiana remember 1,000-point scores. They remember those kind of kids, the sustained effort that it takes to do that, and she's definitely a special player for sure, and we're looking forward to another special things. A couple more months with her would be a ton of fun.
A special kid for sure. 34-27, Plainfield has the basketball again. They're in the dark road jerseys with the Bulldogs in the home whites. What have you said to your ball club in the locker room with Kyle Swafford?
I'm talking about possessions, defensive effort, and really getting stops, stringing together some stops. And if we can do that, then and score on the other end, we're right back in the basketball game that maybe we shouldn't be in.
How about Andy Weaver?
Attack. I think their efforts to get paint touches and get shots off of those paint touches are extremely important for them going forward, because they can draw fouls, and then also they've shown to finish at the rim.
A couple of big threes late, beneficial for Monrovia, but they were not lights out by any stretch of the imagination in that first half. And I think they're very, very fortunate, as you suggest, to be within 7, giving their overall shooting woes in that first half.
Yeah, that's definitely the thing. You know, when you haven't shot the ball well and you still have a chance to win a basketball game, those are the moments when you really need to take charge and continue to just play. And I think that's been the nice part watching the Bulldogs tonight, is they've played.
Nice lob, nice entry pass to Max Newman, and he's there to get into double figures with 11.
Yeah, lifting that defense. Max does a nice job of continuing to seal the whole time as that ball goes to the corner and then to the top. They get Max on an easy bucket.
That's a good look from the perimeter.
Yeah, good hard cut, and just something easy. Josh Smith is, you know, looking to get started here. Hopefully he can hit one or get something positive for him.
Caleb Jones has a 3-pointer on the night. He missed a couple of threes and missed a point-blank look there. Got to be a bit of adjustment to be playing with that brace on that hand. Oh, 3 Bulldogs standing there, and Johnny on the spot to wedge in between them to get the rebound as Cade East, and his effort will be rewarded with a trip to the free throw line.
Yeah, I like Caleb's effort down here on the offensive end with the drive. I think that is important for him to kind of get comfortable with that, making that drive. Down on the defensive end, man, you get a bad shot taken, you got to get that ball. Katie makes a nice play and gets a second chance opportunity, goes to the line for 2.
Plainfield opportunistic from the free throw line tonight. Katie certainly is and was. Cade Gibbs with 12, Cade East with 11. Just like that, the lead back to 9. They have hands in. I mean, they're contesting passes. They help with double teams, weak side rebounds.
They really do it all. This is, you know, East is in a bad spot, gets himself out with the pass, runs hard to the front of the rim, and that just, you know, makes that defense really work hard to kind of get nice move by Max.
And how good is Brownsburg? Brownsburg beat this basketball team by 20.
I tell you, you know, that, like I said, that Brownsburg team being with Coach Lynch for that year, we were not very good that year, but we played a bunch of freshmen, and all those boys are seniors now, and they are grown men.
Joe Williams spots up, deep 3. And again, he's fading away a little bit on the release. He's not squaring the shoulders up and keeping the feet set. Might have gotten away with a travel on Plainfield with the basketball.
Again,
Jacob Gibbs pretty strong. Some contact with Patrick Danforth and no call. 8 points for Gibbs, and they're really, really close. Gibbs gets another bucket. That's 3 players in double figures, and I'm sure Andy Weaver likes that balance. Max Newman misses the and one opportunity. Talking about the Bulldogs sectional titles, 1932-42, 96, the last time in the single class format. Then Chris Sampson, John Standiford are coming to go back-to-back in 98 and 99 and 2000. Actually, 2 out of 3 years there. Regional titles in 99 and 2000. Bulldogs 2A sectional 44. They'll play the likes of Covenant Christian, South Putnam, Cascade, North Putnam, and Cloverdale. A sectional that Kyle Swafford, I think, likes his chances in. Yeah,
when we talk, when both Coach Swafford and I talk a lot, it is a tough sectional. You know you're going to have to win and play some good teams, but for Monrovia, this is definitely a year where they are the favorite. So when you're the favorite, you got to take care of business, and they've done that so far with the teams they've played, but now they got to do it in the sectional setting. Definitely that pressure cooker, and hopefully they can pull one home for Monrovia.
Defense collapses on Newman. The running one-hander by Jacob Gibbs puts him in double figures with 10 now. So Gibbs with 10, East with 11, Gibbs with 12, and Plainfield has opened it up 44-29 after leading 34-27. The Bulldogs had cut the advantage to 5, and Josh Smith a little careless with the basketball.
Yeah, you look at Plainfield's stats over the season, and they, 3 guys in double figures, and some other helpers down the way. That's just it looks like coach really relies on that balance and relies on the ability for them to everybody score the basketball in there. We got him. Just a tough one.
Not much rotation back defensively, and the easy miss leads to the drive by
Coach Swafford was trying to take a timeout after that basket, and he did not get it. And I think Monrovia stopped, and Plainfield did not.
Colby Fedora throws to the bucket, gets banged on the head, and he'll go to the free throw line for 2 shots.
Like we talked about at a halftime, right coming after a halftime, Coach Weaver talked to his team, attack, and his crew has taken that to heart.
5'9" point guard. I like the way he attacks the basket.
He's got a nice, big, strong frame on him. Obviously, when misses the free throw right there, but as a point guard, you really want him to be, take care of the basketball and then knock down free throws when the game's in doubt.
Nathan Naaman checked into the ball game, and then Naaman had 4 points off the bench. Lure goes to the sidelines. He'll sit down with 3 points. It's a 47-31, 16-point advantage for the Quakers, and as the old adage goes, Coach Rounds, you want to get that thing as close to single digits as you can before you get to the end of the quarter.
Yeah, I always, when we've been in these spots, man, Max with a lot of contact, when we've been in these spots, I always talk about 10 points or less, and a couple possession ball game, and Plainfield continues to stretch this lead out.
Well, they're stretching it out because, quite frankly, the bug that has bitten them in this 3-game loss is their inability to play good defense.
Yeah.
And early on in this third quarter, they simply refused to rotate back. They got lucky there that there was no call on a lot of contact when Josh Smith had to turn around at the very last moment. And again, this is where they struggle offensively. And I don't think if you're Kyle Swafford, this is not your offense. And we get into these stretches when we get deficits here, Coach, to where we put everything on this kid's shoulder right here, and he dribbles the basketball, draws a triple team, and it's just not very pretty basketball.
Yeah, they've, early in the third quarter, we had a couple good possessions back to back where we really worked the basketball, the defense lifted for Max, and he got an easy bucket with passing and screening and cutting. And the one-on-one game is Max is a very good player, but he is just not that powerful.
Josh Smith gets the second opportunity for the Bulldogs and can't make the most of it. Plainfield has the basketball in transition. Wide open to 3 by Gibbs. Gives him 17 on the night. Bumps the lead up to 52-31.
Yeah, when the basketball finds the energy like that, and Plainfield is definitely playing with energy. My high school coach and all the guys that I've coached with over the past couple of years, they always talk about how the basketball finds energy, and Plainfield has that energy pumping right now.
Kyle Swafford going to take a timeout and talk things over. We'll talk a little bit more about Monrovia. We mentioned the postseason. Let's take a look at the Indiana Crossroads Conference. Ritter currently leads that conference with a 4-0 mark. They're 5-5 overall. Park Tudor still on the Bulldog schedule is 2-0 in conference play, 7-4 overall. Beech Grove at 3-1, 6-4 overall. Monrovia 1-3 in conference play, 10-3 overall. Cecina with the same 1-3 mark. They are 2-10. Lutheran winless in one conference contest. They're 4-6, and Brighton Central 0-1 in conference play as well. They stand at 5-8. As far as the Plainfield Quakers, talked about the early days of sectional play for the Bulldogs. Same for Plainfield. Started in 1914. They won the Crawfordsville sectional. Opponents for them in the early days, places like Thorntown, Advance, North Salem, Bainbridge, Liston, Amo, Russellville, and Clayton. Quick, tell me, what legendary Indiana basketball coach once coached at Bainbridge High School?
Oh, man, put me on the spot. I'm going to say Jack Kiefer. I don't know. He's usually
Pat
the answer.
Rady.
Pat Rady.
Yep, Pat Rady coached at Terre Haute South and Winchester. Finished his career at Cloverdale, where his son Patrick is now. He coached Larry Steele at Bainbridge, who played with Bill Walton on the '77 Portland Trailblazers NBA championship team.
I did not know that. And that is fantastic.
That's before you were born, though, so I can't hold that against you. I know you read, but just not that deeply.
Well, I try to be a historian of Indiana high school basketball, and that's a good one. That's a phenomenal one. Our state has such a storied history, and it's just always a pleasure to get to talk to people and be around basketball here in Indiana. It's so important. It's awesome.
Good transition. Basketball leads to the bucket by Caleb Jones off the missed by Mason Naaman. Best fast break of the night for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, easy bucket. That always kind of lets you relax a little bit. Your shoulders kind of drop. Maybe you can get a good defensive possession here and get a stop and then a shot fall on the other end.
It's a good basketball team, isn't it? I mean, it really is. Watch the way they transition. Watch the way they move the basketball. Darian Gardner, the beneficiary of that outstanding offensive set.
I mean, there's 3-4 passes by and touched by everybody on the floor. Everybody tries to take their turn to score, putting pressure on the defense constantly to try and guard and cover up those gaps. And then that third or fourth gap is open, and somebody has to help. And there's a wide open person for a layup.
Again, couple of reminders: the Indiana Crossroads Conference Wrestling meet was scheduled for 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. It has been postponed for 1 week, so it's next Saturday. And then the game at home with North Putnam, JV varsity boys. That too has been postponed. That will be played Monday night. Ben Gaston checked in during the stoppage of play. He posted up. The ball was knocked away from behind on the entry pass. In transition, Patrick Danforth makes the foul for Monrovia. Each team with just 3 fouls going into the fourth quarter. This one's buzzing along just like the first half did when neither team got into the bonus.
Yeah, got two very, very quick-paced teams that haven't really fouled, so that from defensively that is good. But for the Bulldogs not really getting stops. Plainfield does a nice job of just kind of walling up and walling off and gets another basket.
Darian Gardner, that 5 points off the bench for the 6'5 junior. They're in a situation where some of these kids could start on other teams.
Oh,
no question.
Yeah, no question. I mean, you got places like Avon, Brownsburg, Plainfield, where they have multiple guys. Get a little physical there. I thought those were 2 good hard-nosed plays by both kids, but referee trying to get them stopped.
This is normally a situation where Darian Gardner would be asked to have a seat by most coaches for a little while just to calm him down a little bit because they were hard plays, but I got to be honest with you. Plainfield, certainly the aggressor there in terms of guys diving to the floor for loose balls.
Yeah. Jalen makes a nice play, tries to get on the floor, but Plainfield going to, his teammates are talking to him. Coach Weaver's talking to him about being smart, and, we'll see. Hopefully he, can be smart and play through a little bit of a physicality because Ben's going to give it to him right here. He's going to be nice and physical with him, which that's what Ben should be doing.
Boy, Bulldogs might have gotten a break there. Cordell McLeod started the drive and extended the elbow plenty.
Yeah, a lot of contact on the catch, and I think we might be able to get into the bonus. It's going to be their fourth foul. Maybe we can get into the bonus early into the fourth quarter and get something going that way.
Games of note around the area involving teams on the Bulldogs schedule. Cloverdale's in Cascade tonight. Ducker Union at Martinsville Tabernacle. North Vermilion hosting Evidence. Fisher's at Brownsburg tonight. We've talked about the Bulldogs and how good they are. Cecina hosting Lutheran in an ICC matchup. Shortridge hosting Washington. A shot at the buzzer that I believe are going to count.
Yeah, looks like that is counting. I think the referees are talking about, but I think that's in. And, I think Plainfield's not very happy about that. But taking a 21-point lead into the fourth quarter, I think, you're trying to fight for your team, and Coach Weaver is going to fight for every single possession all the time.
Other games of note include Lebanon at Tri-West tonight, Martinsville at Bloomington North, Mooresville at Columbus North, Danville at home tonight with North Montgomery, North Putnam at Greencastle, Northview at South Butte, and Valley will be at Edgewood. How about Muncie Central and Richmond? That's certainly neither of those programs what they once were, but it's still a heck of a rivalry, one of the great ones of all time.
Yeah, I can remember when I think I said before, my mother went to Richmond High School. My grandfather coached at Centerville High School boys for 10 plus years, and I remember going to a Muncie Central Richmond basketball game and not being able to sit down.
Yeah, right.
Because the Tierney Center there in Richmond was packed, and it was a phenomenal basketball game by two teams that did not back down and played hard-nosed basketball.
Terre Haute North, Terre Haute South hooking up tonight, talking about Pat Brady. Once upon a time, Jim Jones, the head coach at Terre Haute North, and I remember once upon a time, but that regular season game had to be played at Holman Center because it drew so many people.
Yeah.
Just good games around the state. Those rivalries continue regardless of whether or not the programs are competing for state championships year in and year out.
And that's the fun part about having high school basketball and having these communities like Plainfield, Monrovia that are very, very close together, and see a lot of the same kids that play against each other from youth all the way up to high school. It's fun to see those and have people in the gym and care about these kids in these communities.
Hard-earned 2 by Darian Gardner. He's given them 7 points off the bench, and I think Coach Weaver's going to find some more playing time for him as hard as he's working.
Yeah, I think, a kid like that, you're trying to find something for him, and he's actually done a nice job. Ben Gaston, nice move.
Happy for him. Got the kid in class. I would say, Ben, good luck tonight. He'd say, you going to come to the game, Coach James? I say, yeah, I'll be there. And he'll say, well, you'll watch me. I'll be at the end of the bench. And he understands his role, and I think he just wants to contribute and practice in any way he can. And I'm just happy to see him have that kind of success tonight.
Yeah, he did a really nice job. He got himself under control. He didn't try to do too much. Took his little gather dribble and finished strong through contact, which was perfect.
He's going. I'm surprised he dished it.
Me too, but that just tells you what sort of unselfish kid that Ben is.
Yeah. 58-37. Plainfield in command here.
Yeah. Can't go off the page. Both teams can't go off the page. Do the things that you do well. Control your effort on both ends is what I would be telling my kids, offensively and defensively. Play hard and continue to play every possession like it matters.
I'm with you, though. To think with what we've seen in terms of how aggressive they've been with rebound, with defense, and the way they, as you so aptly put it, attack the bus. Brownsburg beat them by 20. By 20.
I know the type of athletes that Brownsburg has, and how hard Coach Lynch pushes those boys and pushes them to play hard and physical, tough-nosed. And
at one point, to your point, in the championship game against Avon, Cam Alford hit 3 straight buckets. And during the stoppage in play, there was a timeout. And Coach was all over him about his lack of defense on the other end. He said, you can score all you want, but you got to do the job on both ends, period.
Yeah, and that's Coach Lynch for you. He is going to hold you to a high standard. He is He's an excellent coach. His record speaks for itself, and he's going to hold you to that standard, and no matter what. No matter if you're up by 20, down by 20. That season that we had, that we were not very good. You could tell he was frustrated with his team, but he was going to hold them to that standard because he knew this year and last year they had a good team coming.
2 looks by Cordell McLeod, and a foul on the floor back the other way will send Darian Gardner to the free throw line. As we mentioned, Monrovia's game against North Putnam postponed to Monday. Remaining on the schedule, South Putnam, Edgewood, Greencastle, Owen Valley, Triton Central, and Lutheran. The second in the powder keg series with Eminence, and then they'll close out the season with Park Tudor. For Plainfield, they've got Northview and Mooresville, Decatur Central, Lebanon. They'll see Brownsburg again on January 31st, then Terre Haute South, Greenwood, Cascade, Franklin, and Greenfield Central. Talked about Andy Weaver, 25 years on the job, as a rejection by Smith. He was a Pioneer for 3 years. His record 95 and 97 there. They're at 95 and 97. His record there 18 and 35. He was at Western for 15 years and had a lot of success. Good ball rotation, leads to the bucket by Cadies to give him 15. He was 207 and 124. He had 5 sectional titles and 1 regional. Bulldogs the other way with Max Newman pumping in his 13th point.
Good move by Max, under control. He does a real good job of spinning there to his left. That's probably a hold by Ian Ray that he gets away with. Max looking for his one. I think they're going to call that on the floor.
Foul on the floor. Plainfield faithful getting their money's worth tonight.
Yeah,
they're up 62-39.
I think the officiating they've done a nice job. I think as late here we've had a couple tough, hard-nosed fouls, but nothing to warrant anything other than play on.
You pay attention to such things, and all 3 of these guys, by and large, make deep tournament runs every year in terms of officials. I mean, this is a really good crew.
This isn't a crew that steps away from big games. They're going to be in big games and call big games. So I'm walking in and seeing these 3 names knew we were going to get a good officiated game.
Good defense by Max. Strong drive to the bucket by Cade Gibbs. But the rejection by Newman again.
Good hard defensive play. Going back to Coach Weaver, I remember him at Western, and I was with our good friend Coach Matt English, and we went up and saw Coach Weaver, and Matt just said, "Man, if we could ever get this Beech Grove basketball program to that sort of standard, we could be pretty good." And I think Coach English is smiling down, knowing that his boys play just as hard as Coach's teams do.
Josh rejected on his drive to the bucket, but drew the foul, and will go to the free throw line for 2 opportunities. Coach English, of course, Matt, the longtime basketball coach and athletic director of Beech Grove, fought brain cancer valiantly before losing it during the holidays. And Coach Rounds and I both worked closely with Coach English and miss him each and every day. Our thoughts as we've got a timeout on the floor continue to be with his wife Angela, their daughters, and of course Matt's mom and dad, and all were with him like many of us until the absolute very end. And hats off to Dr. Paul Kaiser and the School Board of Trustees at Beech Grove and that entire administration. It will forever be named a Matt English court. And as you and I talk about oftentimes with our rooms being in close proximities, we wish we could share some of our favorite phrases that Coach English had. And I know this is the internet, but still, in the interest of decorum, we'll not share it. But "we before me" was not just a slogan on a shirt and not just something on a plaque or something on a sign. It was what Matt English believed to his last breath. And to give you an example, one year I took him to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the 500, and I have a picture of him kissing the bricks. But he did not kiss the bricks in the conventional way. He turned his body to align with the yard of bricks because he didn't want to impede anyone else from coming up and being able to take the picture. It even extended to a photo op at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, he just one of those guys, like you said, the "We Before Me" mantra was his. I mean, every single time that you would call or text or get to be around him, it was what are you doing? What am I doing? What is my family about? What are we doing? And he truly cared about every single one of his players, every single one of his coaches, and that was just phenomenal to get to learn and coach with the man that just impacted so many young men's lives in the 10 years that he was at Beech Grove.
So Boer had a basket, Newman with the answer, then Plainfield comes back the other way, and Cade Gibbs now has 19 points and will go to the free throw line for an opportunity at the old-fashioned three-point play.
Yeah, both Plainfield they're just continually to move and cut and attack. I'm really impressed with this team, and I think Coach Weaver going into the postseason has got to be extremely excited about what he can have. Now, they have a tough row with Brownsburg in that section, but you got to go through the best to taste that success, and I'm sure he probably wants another crack at them. I know he gets one at the end of the regular season, but probably in sectional play too.
Changing gears very, very well is Cade Gibbs. Well, I know it's a bit of a stretch going back to 1996. Mooresville Pioneers had stuck a 29-point loss on the Monrovia Bulldogs. The Bulldogs get to the championship of the Martinsville Sectional, which was a single-class sectional in those days, end up beating the Mooresville Pioneers. How confident was Mooresville? Gary Venable, who taught here, had a sporting goods store in Mooresville at the time, and he was a Mooresville graduate. And Gary had sectional championship T-shirts made up and had them in a box waiting to be unboxed. Now, the good folks of Monrovia, wanting to rib their former coach and teacher a little bit, wanted those T-shirts, as Joe Williams answers with a three, so they could put a circle around it with a red line through it. But Coach Venable was not having it. So the shirts disappeared, and I'm guessing they were probably destroyed.
Man,
that was Jason Staniford, Steve. Jason, the older brother of Joe.
Yeah,
nice on that team.
Nice block by Max. And these two, Plainfield, Monrovia, Mooresville, especially Mooresville and Plainfield, kind of think of Mooresville as the little brother, and they're nothing.
Gibbs with the flush off the steal has 12 points.
Nice play.
And the first time that Plainfield seen someone dunk the basketball.
That's what.
I'm not above celebrating. I'm really not, but that can't be the first dunk for Plainfield all season long. I'm of the opinion I'm glad we've done it before.
Yeah, I'm with you, and yeah, that was kind of I don't really get that, but
Max Newman's playing well down the stretch for Monrovia. He's not forcing the issue offensively. He is taking shots in the scope of the offense and posting up the would-be defender.
Yeah. I think again, Coach Swafford probably wants his team to have success, and again, it was a dunk. It was a phenomenal dunk. I appreciate good athleticism, but like you said, let's get on with the game. It seems like we didn't have as big a celebration for Michaela for her 1,000. So
and Plainfield should keep in mind this is not Brownsburg. So
no.
Let's not get too carried away with the celebration. And I think Coach Swafford, you might have seen him get up and walk down toward the bench, and he was just telling the officials, "Hey, after that, let's just run the clock. I'm done. Let's get out of here." I don't think he's particularly pleased with what Andy Weaver allowed to occur there off of that dunk.
Yeah, and and I know him and Coach Weaver are friends, and their coaching staff are friends, but I know Coach won't be excited about that, and I'm sure they'll probably talk about that afterwards. But it's a dunk. It's 2 points. Let's move forward.
Well, it's a good basketball team Andy Weaver has here. A lot of pieces and parts. A lot of guys that understand what their role is. I think for most people they play, clearly some issues in terms of athleticism going to create matchup problems like it did for Monrovia tonight.
Yeah, that's what I would assume. And teams that some bigger nose 4A teams, I think they'll create having 3, 4, 5 guys that can come off the bench and really cut hard, be long and athletic. That is an important thing for them going forward to kind of play strong basketball. And
whose kid is that? People just bring their kids to the gym and turn them loose.
I know his mother.
Tell his mother to get control of him.
I will.
That's Coach Frost. Is there a better place for a kid to be with his dad than at the gym? Practice or games. Good for you.
It's that's the great thing of being here at Monrovia and just getting to. My son's a second grader. My daughter's a kindergartner. They come to school with me every single day and get to be with me here at practice, and the middle school, the elementary school's right across the parking lot. It's a phenomenal atmosphere with people like Coach Swafford and his kids, and we really just have been a part of this community and accepted in the last 3 years, and we're happy to be here and love it. Love a good, strong community support that we have here.
Coaches, you got to stick together because nobody else likes you. I've been there, brother.
Oh man,
I'm a lot smarter now that I'm a broadcaster.
Yeah, you're undefeated.
That's
undefeated
right.
For sure.
That's right. Our good friend Lance Scheib retired from coaching football, and I've got him doing webcasts for baseball and basketball and football. He said, "Mark, I never knew I knew so much about coaching."
Exactly.
I've learned so much more since I've been doing this.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, you talk about the atmosphere here. He was listening earlier, and I don't know if he's still burning the midnight oil in his office or not. Missed three-pointer by Caleb Jones, but thanks to our outstanding principal, Mike Springer. He's so supportive of this program that we typically have our kids doing this, and what we've done in the last year and a half with our previous superintendent, Dr. Roberson, and our current superintendent, Dr. Freeman. But, Mike is the guy that we work most closely with, the son, of course, of the legendary longtime football coach in Indianapolis, Washington, Bob Springer. And I know his dad's awful proud of him, and I know he misses his dad. And as we all do that have suffered that pain for sure, but you won't work for a finer administrator than Mike Springer.
No, Mr. Springer, since I came here 3 years ago, he's just been unbelievable support, and constantly I get texts from Mr. Springer, when we have wins, and I've gotten a couple when we've had tough losses, and he constantly supports our student athletes and our students with the broadcasting efforts, and it just enhances our environment here and makes it a really great place to be.
Well, we're getting evaluated too soon, so we got to make sure that it's happening.
Yeah.
Every little bit helps.
I think I just saw that schedule come out. So if there's anything else, if he wants to text, I'll say whatever else he wants to say. So.
Oh, Ben had a deep three rattle out on it.
It looked good for Ben. Always happy for Ben and getting a little extra playing time. Coach Weaver calling a timeout for subs. And Coach Swafford gives him a little ribbing. So got a couple kids coming back in to play, and some JV players getting some time. So come on, Andrew Willett almost with the steal.
So now you got to try to find some way to get in the gym tomorrow and get it done before the weather gets bad. Quick turnaround time for a team that is fatigued a bit. And maybe it's an easy practice day tomorrow, then a day off Sunday, then you come back with what I think should be a winnable game Monday at home against North Putnam.
Yeah, I think, as a coach, the clock's getting ready to hit zeros here, and I think by the time you get into the locker room and talk to your kids, you're really thinking about Monday night and really thinking about how we can be successful Monday night, and that's it. That's it. Focusing on that and that only.
So the two coaches, Andy Weaver and Kyle Swafford, talking things over at midcourt. And again, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You've got a bigger season ahead. It comes up in February in the sectional. Now you've weathered the storm. You've gotten through the difficult part of your schedule. It's not as though if you're Monrovia, you don't have some tough games left. After all, you close the season out with Bart Tudor. But I think the schedule is a little more Bulldog friendly going down the stretch here.
Yeah, correct. And I think that's what, Coach Swafford would definitely talk about and really focus his kids right back onto that and that alone, where, we have a chance now. We've gotten through the tough part of our schedule. Let's focus. Let's get healthy. Let's work on the things that we can control, and everything's in front of them. Both Coach Swafford and I always talk about, a goal here at Monrovia is winning season, winning conference, and winning the section. And those, you can check those 3 off the list. That's a successful season. And Coach Swafford and his team have at least 2 of those 3 goals straight ahead of them.
Yep, no question. And the biggest factor in terms of Caleb Jones is getting him healthy and getting him back to full strength. Had 7 points tonight after missing a couple of ball games. A good effort by him. Max Newman led the way for the Bulldogs with 19. Dan Forth and Caleb Jones with 7 apiece. Joe Williams with 6. Josh Smith with 4. Jalen Sprague with 5. And Ben Gaston with 2 off the bench. For Plainfield, a balanced attack. 22 for Cade Gibbs. 17 for Cade East. 12 for Jacob Gibbs. 7 for Darian Gardner off the bench. Mason Naaman joined him. 13 points off the bench for them. Naaman with 6. 6 points for Aiden Boer. 5 points for Kobe Felger. And then Ian Scott with 2 points. Plainfield improves to 12-1. The Bulldogs have lost 4 straight now after starting with a record of 10-0. Preview your next ball game for us, please.
For us, coming Lutheran Conference Road game, we're hoping to come off, and that the 5-2 in the conference would be a pretty good in a really, really tough conference with Ritter and Triton Central being ahead of us. But Lutheran is a tough-nosed basketball team. They've gotten the better of us last year, and they're young, and we're excited about going down there. But we're really, really concentrating on the things that we can do really, really well on defense, and then our effort to keep possession. And then make free throws. We went 17 of 18 out of our last game, and that's a huge improvement for us. So we're looking to continue those positive steps forward as we get 2 weeks away from section play.
And we'll do it again. So just to stay close, okay? And we'll have another boys game coming up here in a week or so. And best of luck against Lutheran to get that ICC win on Monday night. So many folks to thank. First of all, the good folks at Endeavor Communications. Everything we're doing tonight is courtesy of them and their corporate generosity, giving us the ability to give our kids some valuable experience and our kids some exposure. We want to thank our superintendent, Dr. Kurt Freeman, for all of his support. We also want to thank, again, Principal Mike Springer and our athletic director, Todd Evers. Again, your final score. The Plainfield gets the win over the Monrovia Bulldogs. The Quakers improved to 12-1. The Bulldogs fall to 10-4. For Kevin Rounds, this is Bart James. So long for the Branch McCracken Memorial Gymnasium.
See you guys.